last time you guys had beaten the Lich, and upon beating him, you went deeper into the mine, and found the real Steel Strike that was in a sort of makeshift forge lava pit thing and dropping weapons, or melting down weapons is what he was intending to do, and he maybe had done that to some weapons, but not all, and thankfully not Bjorn's sword either. And Bjorn and Skunk basically gave him a good talking to, because he was mostly just depressed and sad. Silver wanted to beat him up briefly. That was a thing. But he eventually, you guys sort of talked him out of it, and he had told you that the person that you had fought before was in fact a Lich, and that his phylactery was probably within the possession of Strega, the Mercury dragon that you had met that was the leading dragon for Gragbluff, which prompted Oak to do a sending message to him to make sure he could find it, and Skunk to make use of his dragon dex thing to take a look and see what was going on. You then left from the mine, met up with Tantu briefly, old friend of Cad's, and she had offered to take some warriors with her to go and deal with the Lich in your stead, just in case, until you guys confirmed that Strega did in fact get rid of the phylactery on his own after destroying a couple jars that he probably didn't need to destroy. And then you had a brief little party of sorts in the small little gnome village. They were very happy that you had gotten rid of the dwarfs by virtue of getting rid of the Lich. And Skunk and Silver had a nice little chat with regards to a moment that happened many sessions ago. Well, not many sessions ago, but like many months ago for us. That was when Silver and Skunk had a fight. That was finally a thing that was fixed. Hooray!
The Skunk finally found a good window to apologize. I've been looking for one. I saw a few, but then other things happened right as I was gunning up to have Skunk march. I was like, fuck.
I think it worked out. It was a good spot for it. Yeah. And after that, or at around that time, there was also a meeting, a brief little meetup with Cad and an old tailor that had worked with the Loxodon Temple. And Young got a new outfit. Hooray! She is now even more ninja than she was before, because she's wearing a black and blue ninja gi type thing at this point. And so that was a thing. And then you guys were leaving Beatty, the small little forest that you had turned into a Cthulhu monster on the map, because that was a thing that you did.
I think David started that, and then the rest of us kind of...
It was mostly David. I think it was mostly David. And then you guys are going to, finishing up with that, you guys were going to make a trek to Stravant, a town that you guys had not visited yet, that was said to have a library of sorts that Skunk may be able to find out some information about his little dragon decks.
Dragon decks, as we've taken to calling it.
Yes.
Which I started to sort of deduce was like a tool for like a double agent spy kind of thing.
From what you have gathered, yes.
That's the that's like my working theory of it.
Mm-hmm. So you guys are going to make your trek up to Stravant, which is not a whole lot of travel from Beatty, I don't think. Like a day and a half. Yep. So I'm assuming there is probably not a whole lot that anyone wants to talk about while journeying there. You guys have sort of cut travel time down by like a lot, because I don't put random encounters and nobody likes to talk. It makes it easy considering that we want to get this campaign done at some point.
I mean, hey, Skunk is more than happy to talk if someone has something they want to bring up with him.
Which is literally everybody's response.
Yeah. As it is, like, I imagine we're having conversations. It's just we're not covering them in character because they're unimportant. Like, we're not just walking in silence for 8 hours.
Right, yes, of course.
There's small talk. There's shooting the shit. We're talking about, like, why cats lick their buttholes or something. I don't
know. Sure. But, yeah. So you guys are going to make your way up to Stravant. And before you get there, let us have Ryan, with Bjorn's character sheet, roll me a history check.
With Bjorn?
With Bjorn, yeah.
Okay. We are down at David, ladies and gentlemen, so I am rolling and playing for Bjorn today. That is a 3.
Oh, okay, cool.
On brand!
Yep.
On brand!
Yep. Still on brand. How about that? Cool.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So, yes. With that history check, all that Bjorn is going to be able to tell anybody about, if asked, is that Stravant is a very unique town. He doesn't remember why, he just remembers there's something very specific and very different about it compared to the rest of the towns that you guys have visited. And upon you getting there, you immediately find out exactly what that is.
Did I bust out spooky, scary skeletons? Is it that kind of weird?
No, it's not. It's actually very pretty. This town is a lot of areas of Ebon back many years ago. You guys have heard a few little nuggets of that briefly as you went through the story, but I had a lot of like magic inlaid in Ebon. That's why the Blinklings are from here, because that was a whole magic thing gone awry, is why they exist. And the center in this era for magic in Ebon is Stravant.
So it's Magic City.
It is a very magic city. One thing that might be interesting for Silver in Stravant is, if you recall from how I've been doing cities on Ebon, a lot of them seem to have a focus on one specific race. Shush. I don't have a map for it, but it's fine. But a lot of the individual cities on Ebon in particular, some on Gradiriel, but a big part of it was in Ebon. A lot of the bigger and mainer towns always had a focus of one race or other. There was usually other races there, but like the biggest cluster of giants is in Morkita. The biggest cluster of dwarfs is in Cragbluff. That kind of thing. Stravant is Genasi. Yeah, I thought so.
What's a Genasi?
The elementally people. Fire genies and what crap. And why this is important?
Yeah, you got your water, you got your air, you got your earth, and you got your fire and fuck.
Yes.
Fuck is an element?
Yes. It's used so much that it's the 5th element.
Aha! I don't know if you intended for that to be a pun, but it was. Good job. Yes. So yes, the specific, of course, there being that big bad evil lady from Silver's backstory was a fire genasi. So, there might be some mixed feelings there a little bit. But regardless, Stravant is welcoming to visitors that doesn't usually get a whole lot of visitors. And you guys are allowed into the town. The 2 Genasi that were acting as guards that let you in were Earth-oriented, both of them. And, you can just travel around Stravant for a little bit. And you do see one other interesting thing is it's a big enough town that it has like horse-drawn carriages or taxis to help move people around. It's a bustling place. But the horse-drawn carriages are pulled by elemental animals. Thankfully not nightmares, because those are terrifying. But
well, yeah.
and
Well, you
also
wake up
evil.
when you have them.
But you do see a handful of more elementally oriented animals that are in and about in this town. I'm assuming Skunk is probably going to ask around and try to figure out where the library is.
Well, I mean, I imagine what he'll do is when we're being allowed in, he'll ask one of the guards for directions. It's like part of their job. Hey, we're actually here looking for a library specifically. Us in the direction of those.
Yes. You will find the library towards the center of town. Just follow the street here and keep your eye out, and you will see it's one of the larger structures, so you can't miss it.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Do a little 2-finger salute, drop to all fours, and start scampering.
Of course he does.
Okay.
So everybody gonna just follow Skunk to the library, or sort of look around. So this I was initially going to make this like a perception check thing, and then I was like, no, it probably wouldn't be one. And then I double checked, and everybody had at least a 10 on their passive perception. Yes.
Woo.
Yes, you.
Can I smell it?
I'm not entirely. Maybe. Maybe this would be a situation. Actually, yes. You smell fruit.
Cool.
Can I smell it?
Yes, you can. You also would smell fruit. But you guys sort of come to terms with it pretty quickly because she's not so great at it. Of a person that is sort of, she's trying to be a little sneaky and dodgy about it, but no, she's not. That's why your passive perception of 10 10 or more could easily spot her. As much as she wants to be well versed and trained in being sneaky, she is not that sneaky. And you will find yourself being followed by a young teen water Genasi. She looks.
Wait, she's trying to be stealthy?
She's trying to be stealthy, yes.
Sit there and look at young Skunk, be like, hey, why don't you out stealth her? Show her how it's done.
I mean, you could.
Okay, you're saying that to who?
Skunk and Young.
Young and Skunk. Be like, why don't you be stealthy? Show her how it's done.
Skunk is gonna perk up. Then he will walk over to like a lamppost if there's one nearby. Like he's about to just turn a corner. And I would like to do something very funny.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to time the casting of invisibility with me walking behind the lamppost so that it looks like a cartoon effect where I just disappear.
Sure.
So I'm a spell slot down because I'm wasting it on having fun.
I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, this area is pretty well lit, and it's also the middle of the day. So.
Well, yeah. The idea is I want to be seen just disappearing.
Yeah, I know. I was talking about Yang doing something similar on the other side, and it's harder for her to get shadows for Pass Without a Trace. But
just walk under the Elephant Man. He casts enough shade for everyone.
True.
I'm sorry.
Luckily, Kat is not here to hear that. Because he shifted AFK.
So she is going to.
And it doesn't like it when I try to do it with advantage. We'll just do it twice. 26.
Do you have a minimum on stealth too?
Yeah, that's one of my expertises.
Yeah.
A minimum of 10.
And so minimum of 10, plus 15 from proficiency and expertise, and just a fucking high dex.
Yeah. So.
Rogue, man.
Yep, rogues are great. Generally speaking, Young will make use of some shadows casted by Cad and other characters that are taller in and around the area, and will use Pass Without a Trace so she can get at least a 20 out of that 10 that she rolled a second ago. She unfortunately does not have reliable talent, which is what makes your skunk stuff all crazy. But anywho, you guys will just disappear, and the little water Genasi just sort of, What? Huh? What? As she looks at what is essentially now the rest of the party is Bjorn, Cad, and Silver. Because the other... And Oak. The rest of the party disappeared. Where did
the shorter people disappeared?
Yeah, the shorter people disappeared. Where did they go?
I'd like Skunk to circle around to sneak up behind this water Genasi.
Mm-hmm. Easy enough, you're invisible.
Yep, and then as she's looking around in confusion, just on a big old grin, drop the invisibility, and say, "What you doing?"
And then Sam BRBs. Lovely.
Nice.
So, just like, all in all, this session is hardly anybody here. Got it. Good.
Hey.
I said hardly anybody here. my quartet is down to solo. I guess.
That's fine. Skunk's the only one talking to the kid right now anyway. But yeah, so.
Yes. So you're going to sneak up behind her and spook her, and she is going to jump.
I just drop invisibility, put on a big old friendly smile, and go, "What you doing?"
And to which she jumps, and as you can see, she has on her token there, she has like a little parcel that she wears kind of like a fanny pack over her front half there. And as she jumps away, like 2 or 3 apples fall out of the bag.
I would like to try to catch them to keep them from falling on the ground.
Dexterity save, I guess, or dexterity check. Would that be a dex save or a sleight of hand?
I don't know.
I would say dexterity save because it's a reactionary thing.
29.
Yep, that's easy enough. So since you have like Skunk has the quick reflexes to do it, I imagine he sort of does the the scenes in some various TV shows where somebody catches like a collection of things with one hand as you're just like yeah.
I mean, partly that, but I have 2 hands and I have a mage hand, so
yeah. So you catch them all effortlessly. There were like 3 little apples that rolled away, or started to roll out of her bag, and she's just thank you. Hi.
You're welcome.
You turned invisible.
Yeah, I can do that.
No, that makes more sense. I didn't know where you went.
And the fact that we're having this conversation says to me you were watching us.
Yeah, sorry.
How come?
I was curious. We don't get a whole lot of visitors, especially not people traveling around in like armor and stuff. Are you guys adventurers?
I guess you could call us that.
No. I'm really sorry, but I'm not entirely sure what kind of creature you are.
Oh, I'm a kobold.
Oh. I thought kobolds were usually mean.
A lot of us tend to be.
I'm
I was
sorry.
raised by humans, though, so...
I'm sorry if that brought up something bad.
It's okay, I'm used to it.
You're really
Hey,
nice,
my
though.
people have... Yeah, I mean, again, I was raised by a human.
Oh.
Yeah.
So are you guys coming to Stravant for any specific reason?
Books.
Oh. Well, that makes sense. Everybody comes here for books. That way. And she points to the big, huge building that's like off to the side that's obvious and like right there.
Yeah, it's about where the guards at the gate pointed me.
Mm-hmm.
Right, well, just wanted to make sure you weren't, like, gonna, like, try to pick our pockets or anything like that, because that'd just be annoying.
I'm not good at that.
Okay, good, because we are.
I can do this. I can do this, though. And she, like, fans her hands out in a big circle, and she makes a bubble.
Ooh. I summon a mage hand and I pop it.
Nah. It splashes in her face.
She said she's not good at thievery. That implies that she's done it before to know she's not good at it.
This is true.
Skunk's not prodding at it. That's not his fucking business.
So, yeah, she, unless everybody specifically tells her not to, at least until the library, she's gonna kind of follow you.
Either way, the way Skunk, I believe, will cap off this interaction is, right, well, you're fun, but I do have stuff I need to do, so we'll take a step back. I'm gonna go do that.
Okay.
Give a little 2-finger salute, expend a spell slot to cast Fly, and then just ascend.
Hey, wait, whoa, that's cool. What's your name?
Skunk!
He says as he soars off into the sky, Skunk!
Not like that.
Oh.
Just Skunk.
And then she sort of waves as you're flying away, and she says, Mira! For her name.
I will jot that down.
Mira.
What thickens?
Anywho. Well, we don't have Sam here to say one way or the other.
I'm here.
Oh, you're back. You had a BRB earlier.
Yeah, I know. I didn't say back. So I was waiting for a moment in conversation.
No, you're fine. So, does anyone of the party, other than the kobold that flew away, have anything against Mira following you as she goes up as you guys go up to the library?
No.
He's not been hostile, so no.
Okay.
Although Cadriel totally would have thought the thought that I stated out loud, but he would have kept it in his head, so cautiously watching, but yeah.
Yeah. She is the most curious about those that she, like, as I said, Stravant doesn't get a whole lot of visitors, so she's most curious of specifically like Cad and Skunk, because they're the non-normal races that are always traveling around of Ebon. Granted, there are Loxodon on Ebon, but they don't usually come into Stravant, so she's not really seen a Loxodon or a Kobold.
So yeah, we're both minorities here.
Yeah. But she will notice the armor between like Bjorn's and Silver, and that pretty much helped to signify for her that you're adventurers, and that's why she's curious about you. But yeah, she will follow you for a little bit up until you get to the library itself, which she doesn't necessarily go into. Mostly because just as she comes up to the library itself, she is going to, and most everybody here would be able to hear it or see it, because it's not trying to hide the fact that it is coming over here. I present to you Mira's pet.
Pet?
Yep.
Pet?
Pet.
It's going to be a water panther or something.
No.
I was very close, okay?
You were, yes.
Little water puppy.
Yep.
Or a whuppie if you don't have much time.
No. So she will come up to the library, and then there's just this briefest of moments where you hear the almost splashy pitter-patter of feet, and then little water puppy. And she will, oh, Bog, you were supposed to stay home. And she just picks him up and holds him. And then she's sort of, she seems torn. She's like, she knows she should probably go home, but you guys are interesting. But if all of you go into the library, she can't necessarily go in there, especially with Bog. So...
Service animal.
I mean...
He's an emergency, not food supply. He's an emergency drink. So there you go. Service animal.
No. But yeah. She sort of looks at Bog, who she is holding, and then looks at the group, and then back to the dog, and then go home. I'll be back later. And then she sets him down, and he just stays put. And she, go home. And nope. Okay, stay here, but don't get into trouble. You can't come in there. She starts to walk into the library. The dog starts to follow. Bog, stay. And then, that amounts to her not being able to go into the library. Let me do a quick roll to see if she can eventually get him to do anything. But her roll for that is very low. Okay, yeah, no. So yeah, that's that. You guys will make your way into the library itself, and this is probably, even compared to like Alessandra's library, for those of you that have seen it, or like the libraries that have been mentioned before, I'm talking like the humongous 3 to 4 floor wall-to-wall books, humongous library.
So Alessandra's house, gotcha.
I mean, Alessandra has 1 floor of books, not 3.
1 floor of books, 1 floor of living space, and an attic.
Yeah. 3 floors, but 1 floor for books. This is a 3-story building with books on every floor. And this is probably the most books that somebody like Skunk has seen in, like, ever.
He's definitely got his eyes going. What?
Yes.
Whoa! I didn't even know they wrote this many books. Some of these gotta be copies, right?
No, they're not.
Huh?
As you get a librarian who will. Funny enough, this particular person's not fire Genasi or any other kind of Genasi. She appears to be human, like entirely. She's basically a human woman with long, dark hair and very, very pretty eyes. Somewhere between like a bluish purple, which is interesting. And she is very, very friendly. And she just gives Skunk a smile at his whole comment of, I didn't even know they make this many books. And I'm assuming you're looking for something specific.
Kind of, sort of. Refresh my memory real quick, just because it's been a bit. We were pointed in this direction by a dragon, right? Who said, like, poke around here, they can help with the thing?
Yes.
Which dragon was that again?
Specifically the one that told you about the library was, Itty, the, bronze dragon in Morkita.
And if I'm remembering correctly, didn't Itty say that they would, message ahead?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
To which, after a moment, the woman will sort of stop for a second and goes, surely there's not 2 kobolds looking for specific information on dragons. If
there are, I haven't met the other one.
Would you happen to be Skunk then?
That would be my name.
Well then, you are going to want our ancient history section up on the 3rd floor.
Got a specific tome?
I don't necessarily know the correct one that you would be looking for, but we have a specific section for dragons and ancient times up that way. It might take you a little bit to find it, but you're free to peruse, as are your friends. There's plenty of books to go around.
Right, so I've never been in a library before.
Follow me then. And she will start to lead you up a couple stairs and up into the 3rd floor and what is the history section. Specifically, ancient history section. Is anyone else wanting to look around in books? Oak's going to go off on his own and look for something to look into.
Sure. Gradiriel will peruse around.
Like, Skunk's gonna like give everyone kind of a sheepish smile. So I don't know the first thing about browsing a library. I don't want to take up our time too much with this, but if anyone's willing to help me actually look around for what I'm looking for, that'd be great.
Oh yes, most definitely. What? I wasn't given all the details. What is the specific thing that you're wanting to look into?
We're trying to find, well, more specifically, and I'll pull out the dragon decks, I'm trying to find out more about this thing. I found it in some old ruins down south in Gradiriel, and it kept showing me like visions of dragons and stuff and snow, and I brought it up here, and every time I meet a new dragon, it seems to give me the ability to scry on them, and I'm just curious at this point. It gave me a direction at first, but now I have a direction with these bozos, and I gesture to the rest of the group with an affectionate wag of the tail. But, the curiosity's still here, so I just kind of want to get this squared away so it's not eating at the back of my head,
Yeah, that makes sense. Can I see that?
You can. Just don't go walking away with it. It's mine. I like my shiny thing.
Of course, I'm not going to take it anywhere. I'm just going to take a look at it.
Okay. And you will let her look at it.
And she sort of turns it over in her hand for a little bit, and then it definitely appears to be ancient. We're in the right section for that. And she does a she does a wave of her hand, and no, that's a Pokedex. Wrong thing. she will do a wave of her hand, and a very recognizable low tier spell goes off as she makes use of Mage Hand to pull a book off of a high shelf. And then she will. You also notice that her Mage Hand is it's very glowy. Actually, it's a lot brighter than like the Mage Hand that you use. Usually, yours are more about being subtle, but hers isn't. And then she will pull down a tome, and the tome will be, of course, written in Draconic, because yay. Shish, quit with that. I like that, but quit with that.
I came in like a Pokeball.
Yes. So, yes. You will be presented with a rather old-looking tome, and it has a title on it that is written in Draconic, and I'm assuming Silver is with Skunk currently?
Yeah, sure, why not?
I mean, you're always curious about dragon stuff, so
I mean, yeah.
makes it easy. And maybe Bjorn goes off and finds a book on, like, mixing alcohol or something, I don't know. Magic alcohol. There we go. That's where he goes.
How to have epic adventures and then forget about the bad parts with alcohol.
Sure. So, yes. The tome in question that she will bring down, it talks about, specifically, like, old dragon lore and all this. And then she will sort of leaf through it and get to a section on something referred to as the Dragon War.
The what?
Mm-hmm.
Dragon War? Okay.
Dragon War.
War?
War, yes.
What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. And I am going to, since both Silver and Skunk would be interested in this and are capable of reading it, I have a little sort of legend thing that our resident narrator can read.
All right, just yeet it my way.
I'll just put it in the main chat to differentiate all the random Pokemon nonsense.
Yeah, and I will read it aloud.
Beware wall of texture.
In the ancient realm of Ebon, where magic flowed freely and colossal creatures roamed, a cataclysmic war erupted between the noble metallic dragons and the chaotic chromatic dragons. The sky was ablaze with fiery breath, and the earth trembled beneath the weight of titanic claws. The chromatic dragons, fueled by primal instincts and destructive power, sought to dominate Ebon. Their reign was marked by chaos and devastation, leaving the land scarred and its inhabitants in fear. In response, the metallic dragons, champions of order and harmony, rose to defend their home. A fierce and enduring conflict ensued, each side unleashing devastating spells and unimaginable strength. The land bore the brunt of their battle, its once vibrant landscapes shrouded in perpetual winter. The chromatic dragons, weakened and outnumbered, were forced to retreat, leaving Ebon to the metallic dragons. To ensure peace and rebuild their shattered world, the metallic dragons, with the aid of other races, established settlements across the land. They shared their wisdom, their magic, and their strength, fostering a new era of prosperity and harmony.
Mostly.
Yet a dark secret remained hidden within the depths of the Dragon War. As the conflict raged, a group of powerful mages of both elves and dragonkin sought to harness the immense power of the warring dragons. They delved into ancient lore and arcane rituals, ultimately creating a magical artifact, the Dragon Mirror. The mirror, a shimmering indigo disc, was said to be infused with the essence of dragon magic, perhaps even the soul of a fallen dragon. It granted its wielder the ability to spy on any dragon anywhere at any time, a tool of espionage and spying, the actual creator, lost to time. The mirror was hidden away, its location a closely guarded secret. No one is sure what became of it. It serves as a reminder of the past, a cautionary tale of the destructive power of unchecked ambition and the importance of balance.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well then.
Indeed.
So Skunk's gonna give it a look over. There's the soul of an actual dragon in this thing?
Well, maybe. It might just be lately, since we've had dragon cast magic on it. Maybe. It would be dragon magic instead. I hope there's not a soul of a dragon in there.
Is there any way we can find out? Because if there is, I'm not comfortable leaving it trapped.
Would commune with undead work?
In this particular instance, perhaps it would have to be a high-level cast of such a spell, maybe. But you know, do we know anyone with commune with undead?
Doesn't Oak know the spell?
He does, but speak with dead is usually specifically for the spirit or the body of the whatever is right there, and
I mean,
we don't have a body,
right?
Oh, then my idea doesn't work then.
Not necessarily, and unfortunately, it wouldn't be. It may be potential with a speak with dead spell, but unfortunately, Oak's not going to be a high enough power level to cast it.
Anyone know of any, really powerful wizards we could go to who might be able to help with that?
Young, the only NPC that's there because the rest of the people wandered off. Maybe, if you're looking for a powerful wizard, Alessandra might know something.
I was about to make that very same suggestion.
Hello, Bjorn.
God, I was controlling Bjorn there for a minute.
I was like, Bjorn, you came back, okay.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to find out where the nearest inn was in case we want to spend the night.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I've met that one. Who is that?
The Skinny's mom.
You know the stick guy, right?
Yeah, I remember the skinny boy.
His mom.
Yeah, his mom.
Is she skinny too?
Technically, I think.
Maybe
not as tiny as he is, but
she is healthy.
Yeah. She is healthy, but she's also an elf, and elves are usually lanky. So.
Yeah, but Locke was didn't have any muscle.
Naturally.
He was emaciated at campaign start. He's gotten a little better, but he's still very much like a twig. His mom's actually got at least a decent bit of structure.
Yeah.
Well, it's worth a shot. If you guys already know her, then we've got an in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
now we just need someone that knows the teleportation circle.
We could. Hey, librarian lady, says Young. Does Stravant have a teleportation circle that we could potentially make use of? Oh, yes, we do actually.
I was thinking just someone who's capable of casting this spell, because we do know the teleportation circle back to Yukiegi.
You do, yep.
So if you can just find someone that's able to cast it.
Yeah. We can, if you do have a teleportation circle sigil, which you do, that you want to make use of, there is a place here in Stravant that you can make use of if you want to travel far away. Or at the very least, someone who can cast a teleportation circle to get you there. Either way. And
honestly, that sounds like it kills two birds with one stone, because I kind of want to keep looking into this now, because now my attention is gone, but y'all want to, go home, don't you?
I've had my fill of the cold.
Yeah, me too. And this is when Bjorn's like, I don't know about you, but I like the cold.
It's like...
I do like the cold, but this is too much cold, if you know what I mean.
I suppose it can get tiresome.
And hey, now we know why it's always cold.
Yeah, an ice dragon farted on it in the midst of battle. Just fart with reverb sound effect, and it never warmed up. It's so stupid, I'm sorry.
You never know. Yeah. So, you guys could potentially make use of a teleportation circle or someone that can cast it to get you back straight back to Yukiegi pretty quickly. However, as you guys are making your way to leave the library, there is a splash and a clatter and a sharp whisper that you have people with high enough perceptions that can hear it. Because, passive perception of, 25 plus.
Hello!
Yep. And Oak, too, weirdly enough. Way back when, before we had characters like Locke or Skunk and, Bjorn and whatnot, your, Oracle Eye was having perception of huge, because I had an NPC with huge perception that was paranoid. But, he doesn't much matter now.
Oh, don't put him down like that.
When you have players that can do it, it's a lot easier than a DMPC. But
fair.
Regardless, you guys will be able to pick up on a clatter and a small splash, and then those with the high passive perception of 20 plus will hear Mira's voice go, "Bog, darn it!" And then you will see that Mira, along with Bog, followed you into the library. And now there's probably a few books that are maybe not necessarily ruined. Thankfully, she didn't get into any of the books that were really, really old. Mostly because she didn't climb the stairs to the ancient stuff that's high up. Which is also why the ancient stuff is high up.
I see.
But, yeah, she will have a minor bit of a kerfuffle with Bog making a mess of the library and herself. And the librarian is just sort of does the facepalm thing and "Mira, honey, you can't come in here with him. I was trying to make him go home." "Yes, but you clearly didn't succeed. I was curious about..." "Oh, did you find what you were looking for?" "Mira." She's trying to change the subject and the librarian's like, "Nope." And then...
Skunk is gonna... do I have line of sight on the dog?
You do. Mm-hmm.
Can I Misty Step to the dog?
Sure.
Alright. I would like to Misty Step to the dog and surprise pick it up. Yoink.
Easy enough. Although, what's Skunk's animal handling?
Not proficient. So a total of 3.
Roll me an animal handling.
I may require assistance.
Oh, hey!
That's a 20, not natural. Never mind. I got this.
You do. Good job. So he sort of tries to wrestle out of your hand and you hold on to him. He is very slippery, obviously. But, you succeed in keeping hold of him somehow.
Right. I will employ the old trick of scritching behind the ears.
And now he's fine. He's just like, "Nope, okay, I'm here now. We're good."
It's like, figured that'd work. I'll just whisper quietly, "Between you and me, I have the same weakness."
Very nice.
I'll bring little pup over to Mira.
Oh, thank you.
Why is he wet?
He's always wet.
Why is he always wet?
Because he's a water elemental, kind of.
Oh.
He's a magical water dog, like most of the animals around our town. I'm just glad he's a water dog and not like a fire dog. Those can be scary.
Oh, that'd be a problem in here.
I do know somebody who has a fire dog, but he can't take the dog anywhere, at all, ever.
Right, well, and I will hand a water dog over. Little trick. Scratch right behind the ears.
Yeah, that usually works. He likes that.
Yep.
You just gotta get a hold of him. I'm surprised you can manage that.
Well, I lift up my palms and point out the ridges and the scales. I got rough hands. I got scales. Gives me better grip. You might want to get some textured gloves.
Maybe. Thank
Honestly,
you.
if you got textured gloves with little bristles, you can pet your dog and give him a brushing at the same time.
That might be tricky considering he's always wet, but sure. I'll look into that. And then you guys will leave the library, and the last bit with this you guys will be heading out, and a taller water genasi male fellow will see Mira and Bog, the little dog, coming out of the library, and he will be... He very much gives the vibe of perhaps scolding parent. And he will sort of scold Mira for her whole little debacle with the library and whatnot. Perhaps he was told of something that just happened with that, and that's why he's here. Yay, magical town. Everybody has all kinds of spells. Yeah. So, upon heading out of the library, the librarian, after dealing with Mira's whole thing, she will point you into the direction of those who make use of the teleportation circles. And, yeah, you will be led the way over there, and for a minute as you're walking, Oak sort of will focus and make use of sending.
And I was hoping that was gonna fly over the radar.
No. He will make use of sending to inform. He will specifically target Locke, and he will send a sending message to Locke saying, "Okay, so we are seemingly done with our adventure in Ebon, so we are going to return to Yukiegi. I hope you and your family can keep track of all of us. And we have someone that you want to see again."
All right. To which Locke will reply, "I am buying apples at the moment, but I'll be there in 5 minutes. No, I'm not talking to you. I got a spell in my head," and then it cuts off.
Very nice. I like that.
Just caught him at the market.
Sure. And going with that, it does take at least, 5 or more minutes to get everything straightened out with the air genasi that's going to provide the teleportation circle. He sort of he does that sort of floating around thing like Aang does from Avatar.
You still need to watch that show.
Yes, you do. It's a great show.
So I've heard, but I can never find the time.
You have to make the time. That's how time works, sir.
Yes.
You don't create time, you experience it in a linear fashion.
You do create time. When there's something that you want to do, you designate the time to do it.
That doesn't create time, that allocates it.
It sure.
Time is a number that is perpetually counting down to 0.
Time is a number that doesn't exist. Time is a number that doesn't exist. It's human created. But anyway.
No, time itself is a thing. Just our perception and measurement of it. That's the creation.
Fair enough. Tomato. Anyway.
Tomato.
Daedra.
Yeah. So.
Fingy.
You will, eventually, everyone will be, teleported back to Yukiegi. Hooray!
Yay!
Locke!
So, Locke will be in the teleportation circle room, waiting to greet everyone when they pop in. Oh, hey, there's Byron's thing.
Yep, I'll get rid of that.
I don't think
Goodbye.
he's here, is he? Oh,
No.
bye-bye.
I saw something for a second. And
Yep. So
I cannot control this skunk token.
I will fix that. There you go. And
Silver picks up Locke and tosses him at Cad.
I need to get a CAD token on this screen.
Instinctive catch.
I mean, easy enough to do.
Like, I'll say, like, you lay eyes on Locke as you go to do that, and, like, he is visibly, like gained an inch, I'd say, and actually has some meat on his bones now. He's actually eating healthy for a change.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the meat that Riven's been stuffing down his throat, like...
Oh, yeah, no, like, any chance he gets to hang out with Riven, he takes it.
Yep.
But you do actually throw him a CAD?
Sure. It's not very much. It's more like a shuffle handoff.
Yeah,
It's like,
she pulls it. She pulls him up into a hug, and it's like, wait, I don't do hugs. Here, cat.
It's like, this is well, what are you not?
Hey,
CAD?
God.
hello. Yeah.
Hug.
Yep.
My cat is jealous of all this attention you're getting. They won't start yelling at my feet.
Yeah, no, Locke's just giving CAD one hell of a hug.
Yep.
Strength check.
No.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be a con save?
Strength,
con
check or break.
What are you trying to do with that?
Hug. I'm strong.
The hugs are not okay. Whatever.
Hey, theoretically, Locke could actually get out of that grapple if that was considered one. It's only a 6.
Theoretically. Practically.
He just has to roll not any lower than 9. It's fine. Or, wait, 8, not 9. I think his minus strength is 2, not 3.
Yeah, -2.
Yeah. So, you will have Locke. And Cad will have Hug. And, yay. Great. And suddenly also Skunk. Hello, Skunk.
Skunk is kind of just noticing that this particular interaction doesn't have anything to do with him, so he is hanging back for the moment. I was not expecting to see you again, but I'm very glad I am. What happened? Where did you go? How'd you get... everything. Explain.
Gradiriel proceeds to explain everything with a simple hand gesture and a time wipe.
Because this is a Persona game, suddenly.
That is a long story.
It is, yes.
I'm assuming we're going. Can we go discuss this over ale?
I mean, I don't really do alcohol, but we could probably get
donuts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And oh, hello. Who's that?
Hello.
You picked up a kobold?
We've met.
We have.
Hi, skinny boy.
My name is Locke.
No, it's not.
Then Skunk will giggle, walk up, hold out a hand.
I'm just teasing. They talk about you sometimes,
Huh. And your name?
Skunk.
I'm not even going to question that.
Good, because I'm not going to explain it.
Locke will point at Skunk. I like this one.
Yeah, he's pretty interesting.
Well, I guess you've all been rather busy.
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
We killed a lich.
You what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We fought a lich.
You know what? I feel like Silver has a point. This is not a conversation for the cramped teleportation reception room. This is a conversation for dinner. My treat.
Okay.
And I imagine Alessandra's in the room too. Locke would have told her that we have incoming.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Locke.
For some reason, I cannot find it, and I can't remember if I actually had a token for it. Did Vanya, your half-sister, have a token?
I don't think you ever gave her one. I don't recall if she did.
I'll have to find one later. Because I don't...
That's not her token?
No, that woman there's Mom.
Yeah, that's Alessandra.
Okay.
Yeah. I was looking on this map for other tokens that are currently invisible or whatever, and I have a Riven and a Hollis way up here in the corner. The NPC party that was staying here in the tavern down here, and then randomly Cow right there.
What Cow?
I don't know why she's there.
It's because the last place in which the party interacted with Cow was on this map, and I didn't.
I thought you said cow, like a bison.
Cow.
Move.
No.
I am so sorry.
Anyway, so yes, you guys will, move your way over to the tavern, which the barkeep is very much willing to see you guys again. He enjoys having you guys around. And then he gives you donuts on the house because why the heck not?
Yeah, like we're like, I had to do a fair few errands to make him willing to accommodate that one.
I mean, it's one of your favorites, isn't it?
Well, yes, but it's generally speaking considered not good for business to just hand out free things.
Oh, that part. You're well known in this town. You did save it a couple times.
Well, all right.
At least the discount.
Yeah. All right. Now, explanations. You give now.
Mm-hmm. And then...
yeah. It's like we went up to Yuki. We sat there. We did some things. We had a job for Marquita. That ended poorly-ish. But we ended up finding that guy, too.
Which guy? There are two new guys here.
The big guy.
Yeah, he was like... this would, of course, went into the, hand waved of the moment that Cad said. But, Yong was probably one of the first ones to bring up that they found Cad as part of working with Aza directly, as one of her,
I almost set the town on fire. Because of it.
Yeah.
Let me guess. Ton of thieves?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he reached out to do a job, and then, so much shit.
Yeah, why am I not surprised?
Yeah. So we're going to rest here, right?
Yeah. I mean, I got nowhere else to go. Depending on what happens with the mirror.
The what?
Oh, this.
And Skunk will show him the dragon mirror.
This thingy.
Huh. Skunk's gonna look it over for a second. And it is?
Apparently it was created as a tool of espionage and spy work back during the big old war between chromatic and metallic dragons in Ebon some however many centuries ago. I found it way down here in Gradiriel, if you can believe it, just tucked away in under a couple of rocks and some old hollowed out ruins. It was just straight up a centimeter away from being just raw and exposed to the elements, so whatever casing it was in didn't go well. Just kind of got broken out at some point.
Huh.
Lets me spy on dragons, scry on them if I've met them. But the more significant part, it might have a dragon soul in it. And if that's true, I'm not comfortable keeping a dragon from its rest.
Makes sense.
Wait,
Well-
you're telling me, and this is Alexander, you're telling me you have a ancient, potentially relic or artifact that may or may not have the soul of a dragon in it?
Yeah, it surprised me too. I just found out earlier today. We actually came back here partly because all of these people basically live here. Something to that effect.
They
But
do
also
to a point,
because
yeah.
but also because you're a wizard, right?
Yes.
Right. Because we were wondering if you could help with that. If there's a dragon soul in this thing, I'd like to let it go if possible.
Theoretically, I could ask Vindsevpt if he could let me poke my head in, see if there is a dragon in there. Communicate.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting.
Is that a thing you can do?
I don't
Look,
know. Look, let me put it to you this way. The projection Vindsevpt can do with my mind has allowed me to walk through lead, which is normally completely resistant to magic, and I just bypassed that by employing a little bit of effort. So who knows the extent of that guy's power?
And didn't you somehow walk through dimensions too?
I mean, yeah, it's basically just projecting my mind and selective physical presence to other locations in the planes, and also time gets screwy with it. I can't tamper directly with continuity, I don't think, but I know for a fact my mind's been thrown way back into the past at least once.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. We almost fought a dragon that was technically two dragons as one.
Almost?
I talked to them.
Of course you did.
She actually talked them down and stopped them from fighting.
Well, I mean, I still got hurt in the process, but I still managed to talk them down.
Then you just kind of napped in the middle of a courtyard for an hour.
Yep. Yeah.
And she was getting snowed on the entire time. It was kind of funny.
I mean, I didn't mind it. I was talking to young dragons. Come on.
Yeah, no, I can see how that would make you ignore getting a frostbite. But yeah, I could ask Evanswend if that's something he can do, assuming you don't have anything you can do about it, Mother?
I could look into seeing if there's something that I could do about it. Although...
I mean, honestly, the first step would be confirming if there's even a dragon in there. I mean, you said it might be a case?
This is
the
true.
book posited it as a theory, but didn't, confirm it, so I don't know if that's a guarantee or not.
Well, that's probably what we should confirm first. It would be an awfully embarrassing sequence of events if we spent increasingly absurd amounts of resources trying to release a soul that wasn't even there.
Yes.
Confirm its presence, go from there.
Perhaps Evanswend can help you with that at the very least.
Oh, that much I don't doubt. The guy's a big eyeball on top of a stalk of tentacles. I'm pretty sure he can see everything.
And also, with that, I would imagine that, though at first and through, throughout the course of the story before, you would always really contact Evanswend in, night, during dreams.
Yeah.
And perhaps in this time that you've been, relaxing and not doing anything really strenuous, you have sort of opened up the channel to commune with him in a more open manner. So that you don't necessarily have to wait until nightfall. Granted, it is technically close to nightfall anyway, but you don't necessarily...
Imagine Locke would still need peace and quiet to concentrate on it.
He would, yes. He probably wouldn't want to do it in the middle of the tavern with people happy that they're back in their potential home base.
I can poke Evanswend about it when we return to the library.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Okay. All right. Are you gonna need this in your possession for that? Would that help?
I mean, maybe? I've gotten a little better about making contact with Evanswend without having to drift off into La La Land, but I'm not sure how strong the waking connection is, so if you're comfortable with letting me hold on to it when I do that, I can happen.
I'll
He's
trust
probably
this guy,
gonna.
right?
I was going to say, why don't you just stare at him while he sleeps?
What?
And nothing.
Not what it was to be the butt of every joke.
Your jokes are getting a little better there, Silver.
Oh, come on.
Young just laughs. She was teasing you. Alright. So, with that, I imagine then that Bjorn, Silver, and Young probably will get their drink on, as it were.
Yep.
And maybe even Cad, too. Who knows?
No, I'm good, thanks.
So, I will say, though, if Cad, specifically because he had wandered off and looked for it, and I sort of forgot to bring it up later, Cad would have been able to, with his, sort of, it could have happened off screen and that's fine, or we could rehash it. If there was any kind of magic thing that Cad wanted to look into, or any other kind of book that Cad wanted to look into, he could have totally found something back in that library.
I said I'd peruse, and then that's kind of where that ended. So.
Yeah.
It's like he was just browsing idly.
Yeah. I was just trying to bring back to that, because I kind of forgot about it, that in his perusing, was there anything specific that Cad might have wanted to try to find? Or we can just roll a check for that. Roll investigation.
Once upon a time, I had a book with Loxodon hymns, and what is the rest of this?
Mantras.
Can't read it. Mantras? Okay, yeah. Anything that would catch my attention specifically, or if they had anything like that.
You could.
Because I think when I found that before, he had never seen such a thing.
Right. Since you're perusing on your own, roll me investigation.
This one.
Mm-hmm. Nice. 17. Not bad. So you will actually find, it's not super ancient texts, but you will find specifics on Loxodon culture from up in Ebon that sort of lines up with a lot of the stuff that you had heard from Tontu when you were working with the temple before. Talking about how the Loxodon sort of, especially the Loxodon of Ebon, had a particular interest in protecting the smaller folk. Hence why there was a almost instinct for Cad to sort of get so close to Locke. And then why you had a tailor that was a halfling riding in the fabric basket of Loxodon.
Right.
And it sort of lines up talking about that culture. And something that you're going to find with that 17 in that book, as you sort of leaf through it over time, is way back when the Blinklings first suddenly become a thing, because that was like weird magic spell gone awry. Way back hundreds of years ago, when the Blinklings first appeared in Ebon, it was the Loxodons that were protecting them at first. And weirdly enough, that was the town of Mork before it got overrun by thieves.
Huh.
Mork was actually originally settled by the first Blinklings. Originally. Mm-hmm. Yay, lore drop things. Hooray. So, beyond that, you will get a chance to sort of rest up, and then Locke can make use of Vindsevpt to see if he can be of assistance.
Yep. Locke will find his typical spot, just sit cross-legged, and employ some magic and make that connection.
What's your own little island sitting in Vindsevpt's area looking like now? I think you told me that it looks a little different now.
It's grown a little bit, because Locke's gained another level in Sorcerer. Fading into it, I imagine it would probably be slightly larger. It still has, like, at its very center, that big, like, wide-boughed willow tree with all, like, the hanging sort of drooping branches sort of gently emitting the sort of pale, sort of lichen green glow. There's sort of a thick moss or sort of patches of, like, various swamp flowers and cat grass sort of all around the edges. And just in general, it's looking a lot more sort of, lively in a damp sense, as most things with Locke tend to be.
Yeah. Okay. So...
And just for funsies, I'm going to say that there's, like, an incomplete, like, in-progress stone arch on the back of the island. Like, someone's trying to build an archway for, like, a door, but hasn't finished yet. Like, they're trying to figure out how to make the curved bit at the top work physically. The implication being that one day Locke might want to invite friends into, like, actually physically enter his little pocket space as, like, a safe location to rest.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah. Like that was one thing I was kind of wanting to do. I was thinking if I took a warlock level instead of a sorcerer level, I would want a custom spell to serve as my like Eldritch Invocation or whatever it's called.
Right.
That is specifically just opening a portal into that leads to his little island. And, obviously so long as whoever enters stays on that island, they're within Locke's domain, so they're not pissing off Vindsevpt. But it just gives them a safe place to be.
I mean, as long as that was not used in any kind of broken kind of a way, and it would have limitations depending on, like, where you were. But yeah,
like I imagine the requirements would be: I need a puddle of water, like 5 feet by 5 feet by 5 feet at least. So and that's like the jump point. Like,
deep
jump into
puddle,
that.
5 feet deep. Wow.
Or at least, still, it occupies one square on the grid, and you can jump in, and then that pushes you out into the island, and then you can only stay there for 8 hours or something to that effect.
I know why you need a 5-foot cube, because that's like what, approximately 2 meters?
Something like that.
So if you have 2 cubic meters of water and you put them side by side with air in between, you have infinite water.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you have... you need a cubic meter of lava, and then you get infinite cobblestone.
I mean, there's that too, but water multiplies it. Anyway.
Minecraft!
Yep.
That's what we were talking about. Minecraft. But yeah, no, just a puddle of water big enough for someone to feasibly jump in, and it's. But I decided to go with the sorcerer level instead. So Locke's working on it, but he has not yet perfected it.
Okay. So you will be greeted with Vindsevpt, as you eloquently put it before. Big tower, big Sauron eyeball, as is typical with him. And then you have your little spot of an island in his domain. What is it you need help with then?
Well, I'm not sure how much you've been paying attention to what's going on back home, but the rest of my old traveling group just returned to Ukiegi. They brought with them a new little friend, a kobold named Skunk. In his possession, he has an arcane mirror that predates back to a big historical event in Ebon, the Dragon War. Do you know about that?
I was not around at that time, but I do know of it.
Regardless, apparently the mirror was created as a means of scrying on dragons and was used as a tool of espionage and spy work. Eventually it was hidden away somewhere, and then Skunk found it not all that long ago. The main reason I'm reaching out to you is because I have a question about its nature that, well, we don't want to necessarily blow a whole bunch of resources on until we can confirm it. Their sources indicate that there might be the soul of a dragon inside the mirror, and I was hoping that it would be within your power to confirm if that is or is not the case, so that we can figure out how to proceed effectively.
I could at least help you to look into it.
Alright.
Being that is before even my time, I can't confirm myself. I can send you to the point where you can confirm it.
Alright. I do have the mirror in my possession at the moment. Skunk is letting me borrow it for the night while I conduct this meeting, so if that helps in any way.
Should you leave here, we will give it a shot. Was there anything else?
Not at present, no.
So your old party and friends has returned then?
They're currently present in Ukiegi, yes. I don't know how long they're going to be sticking around. At least for a bit. They don't seem to be in any hurry to go anywhere at the moment, but...
Is that, all of your old friends?
Is there anyone we're missing?
He's more, wondering... I'm kind of operating on the assumption that that Locke might have been curious on CAD and may have talked to Vindsevpt about it before.
Looks like... yes. All of them. Cadril's come back too.
That's good to hear.
It is. Still kind of vague about, why he poofed, but, at this point, I deal with enough vague things in my life that I'm not too bothered by it. I'm just happy he's alright.
Oh, okay. I just remembered why he left.
Wow.
Wait, why did he leave? Oh, right, he was paying off our debts to Azza.
Yep.
That, and he was also constantly losing his fucking shit and attacking us.
Well, he only did that twice.
Still, that was a thing that, like, the whole reason he left, it was, like, caused by the fact that was happening. It's like he didn't feel like he was, he felt like he was endangering us.
He almost killed Locke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a pity, which is a shame, because those two get along so great.
Yep.
Keep Locke safe. Now come here and die. Wait,
Hurry up and wait!
Yes.
Yeah.
So, with that then, with you having finished your, conversation with Vindsevpt, he will, make use of his magics and see if he can't do some mind trickery shenanigans.
And just for, like, confirmation, this whole thing he does where he sends my mind to other places, is that just like a slightly modified version of astral projection?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay.
As far as like actual spell stuff, it's basically variant on astral projection to add in some timey-wimey bullcrap.
Yeah, because I'm not actually all that familiar with astral projection, but it just occurred to me like, alright.
Yeah.
So basically just astral projection with time bullshit and invisibility.
Well, biotechnicality, astral projection comes with the bonus of you are basically a specter or a spirit wherever you go. So, for the most part, you're going to be invisible anyway. That's normal astral projection. The only thing that's different for his version is that he can send your consciousness to anywhere or any when that he targets. So, yeah. Where is Locke wanting to go? Is Locke wanting to try to see if he can launch his consciousness into the mirror itself? Or is he...
Vindsevpt basically said that he could send Locke to wherever he could confirm it, so I was thinking that Vindsevpt kind of had an idea of where he was sending Locke's consciousness.
Yeah, Vindsevpt has an idea of where he's going to go for. But there's also the added bonus of, since you're taking levels in Sorcerer, it's, something where your own intent can come into play as well. Vindsevt's over time started to understand that that's an important thing to you. So
right.
While he is going to sort of direct your path, he's not going to necessarily force it. So if you wanted to go to a different spot, then...
On this occasion, for the time being, Skunk will allow... Or not Skunk, Locke will allow Vindsevpt to point him in a direction.
Alright.
On this occasion, I am asking favors of the guy, so if I'm asking favors from Vindsevpt, the least I can do is not complain about how he wishes to accommodate.
Fair enough. Alrighty then. So, with that in mind, roll for me a d20. Just a straight, flat d20.
Locke.
12. Nice. Okay. So, Locke, you are going to be... You will feel... As you have done a couple of times already, you'll feel that motion of your consciousness being flung all over wherever the heck. And you then will find yourself in, in the crux of a battlefield. You don't necessarily know precisely where you are, but you will see... all manner of races, largely giants are the actual ones that's out there fighting that you can see. But you also will see like the flying off of magic, and a little higher up you will see silhouettes of what appear to be dragons. If anything, this sort of confirms the aforementioned dragon war that they mentioned before. You are very much in the middle of that. And you're free to sort of wander around and sort of just float in space. Nothing's reacting to you, both in stuff flying past you, through you, and all this. And you can sort of direct your path and go wherever you want to go. But your initial instincts, partially pulled from Vindsevpt, is drawing you to a what appears to be some form of perhaps temple or larger maybe religious structure of some sort, and you see a dome, a shield of magic that is just sitting over it and is blocking all of the dragon attacks and other things that are going on all around it. And it just seems to be this place of safety in the middle of all this chaos. And then all manner of like battle cries and roars and all this going on all around you. What you doing, Locke?
I'm gonna check out the dome. That's the dome. The dome is where the is like also with the temple, right?
Yes, the dome is protecting the temple.
All right, I'll check those out.
Yeah. All right. So you're going to sort of float over towards it, and do you just kind of mosey your way on through, or you just sort of gingerly sort of tap your spectral self on the shield, or just try to go through it?
Is it opaque or transparent?
It's sort of opaque. It's not super transparent, but it's not like completely hiding the structure inside.
I'll see if I can see what's going on inside before I try to phase through it.
You will see, unfortunately, you can't necessarily see anything going on because you're just seeing the structure itself. But you do get that, Locke's got detect magic and all this mess anyway. Especially in the forms like this. So you're going to get the magic of like the god magic that you had getting the sense of before. Dragon magic, specifically a very strong adjuration spell that is the dome itself. And then sort of hiding inside it, you're going to get a sense of enchantment and ever so slightly ping on the radar of necromancy that's inside the temple.
Does the temple look like it's large enough to accommodate a dragon?
Yes, it does.
All right, then I will attempt to phase my way in.
Roll for me at the 20.
5.
5. All right. So you sort of try to push your way through, and then there's this like pulse, this sort of warble around the dome, and you just sort of go end over end, backwards, flying backwards from it. It is capable of keeping you out, or at least it seems to be. However, perception check with your not skunk perception.
Yeah, no, I got this sheet open. That is persuasion.
Hey, a lot of people do that.
19.
Yeah. So it's sort of when you sort of push your way in, it's like pushing through almost like a weirdly spongy kind of thing, and that's how you sort of bounce backwards. But as you get close enough to the temple, you're there just long enough for your perception to pick up on sound that's coming from inside the temple itself. It was hard to pick out because there's roars and crap going on all around you, but you will hear cries of pain and roars that sound very draconic coming from inside the temple just before you're jettisoned backwards.
Well, then there's definitely a dragon in there in distress. I'm going to look around. Can I spot, like, the front of the temple, like where the front door is?
Yes. You can sort of meander your way over there to that direction. And you see that it is heavily guarded. And roll me history, Locke.
12.
Good enough. You recall briefly from, like, things that you had read within Alessandra's library that one weird and interesting thing about Ebon is while there were a very small collection of drow in Ebon that sort of stayed in the undergrounds of Ebon, the other elven races were not in Ebon, like, at all. And you see that this temple's being guarded by a pair of high elves. They don't look like warriors, they look like mages, but they're like, they're actually doing like the psionic style mage blade things for their weapons and gear and whatnot.
All right, and refresh my memory. I'm refamiliarizing myself with what all Locke has, so my attention is kind of divided. Are these people outside the barrier or inside it?
They're inside the barrier, guarding the temple itself.
Are there any individuals like them outside of the barrier, like on approach?
No. Although with that high enough perception that you rolled earlier, I'm just going to sort of roll it in, even though that was a hearing thing earlier. You do see that on the top of the temple structure, it does appear that the source of the barrier is another high elf, as he's just sort of holding his hand up above him on the roof of the structure, and he seems to sort of be looking around as if he thought he noticed something prior. But he's not sure what to do with it, and he needs to focus on the barrier. But yeah, you can go as deep as you want to.
Do not currently have the Tent of Fortitude, so I'm going to remove that from my inventory because I just thought it was in here.
I mean, you gave that to Skunk.
I did, yeah. Or someone gave it to Skunk. Locke didn't. He just kind of let the party have it.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to see what all I have here.
You do recall that your magic is sort of weary when you're in these sort of spaces. You can still do some of your stuff, but
yeah. I guess I'll just see if I'll just like a circle onto a spot where there aren't any of these high elves. Let's see if I can get through the barrier again. Give it another college try.
Roll a d20.
What the fuck? 12.
Yeah, slightly better. And you sort of... It's almost like that moment when you were like pushing through the lead box before. It's very, very slow going, and you're getting a ton of resistance. And then let's do, yeah. So you push on through, and you actually make it to where you're inside the structure for just the briefest of moments. And you will see a pair of, actually a trio. You will see 3 elven mages, just like the ones outside, that are standing in a sort of triangle shape around a very large, let's see, we'll say it is it's a white dragon, not silver, white.
Okay, so a chromatic dragon, so one of
Yep.
the dickish.
Yep, generally. And he is not happy. He is roaring and carrying on, and there's this big shield that is in and around his self that sort of, it's pulsing the same way the shield is outside, but it's triangular instead of a dome, and it sort of seems to be trying to do something to him, but you don't really get a whole lot of emphasis on what that precisely is, and then you're jettisoned back out, and you go a lot further than you did the first time.
All right, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So that confirms, at the very least, that at some point in time, these cultists, I'm assuming these are the cultists that made the mirror. Did I see any sign of the mirror while I was in there?
No. You didn't see anything that looked like the mirror from your vantage point before you got flung outward.
Okay. Okay. The mirror doesn't necessarily have any elaborate symbols on it, right? It just has like some draconic old dialect writing on one side, and that's about it?
Yeah, pretty much.
So no iconography I can use to compare. Okay. In that case,
I mean, short of seeing the ancient draconic text that's all over this temple, which, from just basic history knowledge, and your understanding is, I could just, cups that into all the stuff that you had heard. But when you were sort of looking over,
I can also read all writing, so there's that.
Oh, you could.
Yeah,
That-
the room keeper.
that is a thing that you can do. Is that a thing that you have to activate, or is it just always on?
No, it's just constant. It's just a passive trait. I can read all writing as long as it's writing.
So
and not just poop scroll.
So the we should have brought this up earlier. But we forgot that detail.
You can say it was sort of on a delay while I was still getting used to being projected again.
Yeah. So you are going to be able to sort of read up on these essentially cultists. Yes. They seem to be. I'll give you a name for them specifically later on, but you will pick up on a name of the ancient cultists that were messing with these dragons, and you can sort of confirm by just like, though the wording is weird because it's a name that you don't know, since your Eyes of the Roomkeeper sort of gives you intent, like what you did with the like thieves cant and stuff like that. You sort of pick up on that this is very much cultist tribe. This gives you an air of cultist tribe, and that they want to like some of the glyphs that were around the triangle for that briefest of moments was hinting towards the thing that you're trying to confirm. Assuming that these cultists succeeded in what they were doing, you just might briefly have saw the dragon that's in Skunk's mirror.
Huh, all right. In that case, with that in mind, that at the very least, cultists attempted it, I will turn my attention away from this battlefield and to the mirror itself that I physically have in the material world, and see if this form of astral projection can push my consciousness into it.
Okay. This will be a biotechnicality. I'm going to let it be Arcana, but it's going to be at disadvantage.
Because hard. If it can house a dragon soul.
Yep.
That's an 8.
Yep. Nope. You have successfully put what is amounted to a piece of jewelry against your flame. But alrighty, you pulling out.
I mean, yeah, I can't think of much else I can really confirm here.
You did get some confirmation though.
Yeah. So yeah, I will go ahead and leave that projection behind then.
Yep.
Fold back to my island.
Other people have gotten a chances to rest up and maybe even read in Cad's case. Oak picked up him a book too. Which the interesting thing about this book that he has, if anyone happens to notice it, is it is written in Giant that no one here other than Bjorn could potentially read. Yeah. It looks sort of nature-y, which makes sense. So you guys will wake up the next day, and Locke can get him a chance to chat about what he saw then.
Yep. So, upon emerging from that, he'll give everyone the scoop at the tavern, I guess. That's where everyone's going to meet up, I imagine.
Probably. Or the library, either or, really.
Mm-hmm.
So, wherever he winds up meeting them, Locke will give him the rundown. All right, so I did my thing. So near as I can tell, at the very least, a cult did make the effort to do something with a white dragon specifically. Whether or not they were successful, I wasn't able to maintain a presence in the space long enough to ascertain. There was a large dome barrier protecting the place where it was happening, and there was a large battle happening around it. So whatever was happening with that white dragon, it was known enough and significant enough to be the site of a major conflict, a large battle. There were dragons and giants all over the place. It was a large conflict, but the temple itself, where all of it was happening, was well guarded. I could only get in for a couple of seconds and confirm that there was a dragon inside at all before I got shunted out.
Also worth noting, though it was sort of dark in space because Battlefield and like how Locke normally sees his dreamscapes things, it was kind of faded out in the details. But the biggest reason why you couldn't sort of ascertain where you were precisely, though some of the mountain structure did make you think of Ebon, and with everything that you know, it would probably be Ebon. It was Ebon without winter.
Right.
It was before the white frost dragon fort.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, Yong, or no, not Yong, Oak. Oak is gonna pick up on that, and he's like, correct me if I'm wrong, Silver, but the chromatic dragons, which would be the case for a white one, those were the generally evil ones, right?
Yeah, they're kind of dickish, yeah.
They tend to be really prideful, arrogant, selfish and whatnot.
They prefer power and gathering power and stuff. I mean, if you can provide them power and gold and shit, they might let you live. If not, they might use you as a toothpick.
Yeah.
So, generally evil, though I'm not sure if that's a hard and fast rule of them.
No, it's just basically their nature kind of thing. It's just like they want power and shit.
Right. Makes sense.
So.
Well,
Alright, well, so what now?
well, my question is, if it was a chromatic dragon, and they're typically more violent and cruel mentalities are maintained in this one, is it wise to release it?
I mean, you would think it's dead.
You would think so, but dragons are incredibly powerful creatures, and spirits can just stay in the material plane if they're stubborn enough. That's how we get ghosts.
Yeah.
Ghost
So
dragons?
huh? What was that?
I'm just trying to imagine ghost dragons.
I mean, that's essentially what this would be to a certain point.
If that's what happened, I'm not entirely sure that's something we want.
On the flip side, if I may be the devil's advocate here, a dragon who's been imprisoned for a really long time, I mean, they're arrogant little bastards, sure, but they also know when they owe someone a favor. Their pride can't let them ignore that. So if the dragon doesn't just immediately move on if released, call in that favor to make it go away.
Or they will try to circumvent of doing that favor by just killing you.
Well, the way, if we try this at all and attempt to release the soul, if it winds up being a problem, I'd rather it not be in the middle of town. So I would recommend if we attempt to release this dragon's soul, we do so outside of Yukiegi, so that innocents aren't caught in the crossfire of the big epic battle that's bound to take place.
Ooh, can we do it in work?
I feel like that might cause a diplomatic incident.
Yeah. It caused something, that's for sure. Alright, so...
But of course, if we're lucky, it won't come to that, and the dragon will just go on to wherever dragon souls go when they die. I don't actually know. Do dragons follow the same rules as everyone else when it comes to afterlives, or are they special?
I mean, generally speaking, they're not immortal creatures. They're just very, very long-lived. Much longer than most other creatures.
Yeah, I'm just... Here's the thing, I've never heard of a dragon ghost. I mean, I've heard of Dracoliches, but, necromancers do that.
I mean, it's there's different things. Some think there's, an actual, dragon realm that they go to. Some might actually think that they actually get reincarnated into eggs and relive life again. It's yeah.
Well, and this is Alessandra, I echo Locke's gesture. If you're going to do anything with that, perhaps not the middle of town.
Yeah. outside of town, fair distance, at least far enough away that it's not an immediate visual line of sight, just in case it becomes a fight.
Now, if it is a fight, how old would the dragon be? Would it have reached Warmhood?
How old was the dragon when Locke saw its body?
It was...
Was it an adult?
It was definitely an adult at that time, yes.
At minimum, we'd be dealing with an adult. I don't know if it was past that point, but at minimum, an adult.
I'm just thinking, it's like if it continued growing, per se,
well,
as a spirit, would it or would it not?
I don't know. It's possible, I suppose, but generally speaking, souls grow with the bodies that house them. Without the body, the soul would just be a static thing, wouldn't it? And this, and he holds up the mirror before, and hands it back to Skunk, and that doesn't grow. It was stuck under a rock for however many centuries. So honestly, part of me wonders if it's even still in there, or if the dragon's soul is just seeped out like mist over time.
I mean, it was in pretty rough shape when I found it. It was still showing me visions of Ebon, but it wasn't until we had a bunch of dragons breathe on it that it woke up.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. All the cities in Ebon are run by metallic dragons, apparently.
That is fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a weird two-form government where you have the public-facing government where it's all like giants and the regular people, but then they take orders from dragons who live in different locations, which creates a really complicated but very hard to disrupt chain of command, and it's all really fucky, and it confused Silver.
No,
and he's just pointing directly at her.
It didn't confuse me per se. It's more that it confused me of why Ozza, a silver dragon, let a thief run a town.
Oh, you know, on that one I don't really have a good counter argument.
What?
Well,
I mean, you have a valid point on that one.
Who knows? Circumstances beyond her control, maybe. That's not the point here, though.
So, what is our tactic then?
Well,
Do we fuck around and find out, or do we just leave it alone? Because that's always an option.
I mean, I still don't feel right about keeping a dragon stuck in this thing. Dangerous or not, if the soul's in there, and if the soul's aware and awake, then leaving it in there is just adding to the suffering of the situation. I don't want that.
Is there any way we can make that object sentient so we can know? Because then at least we would be able to talk to it, per se.
That's an interesting thing. I mean, since sentient magic items exist, they have to have been made that way somehow.
Actually, hold on. There's a thought. There's a thought occurs to me. You said that mirror lets you scry on any dragon.
Yeah, it's more likely to succeed if I've met them already. Then it's just guaranteed, but otherwise I can try, certainly.
You just saw a dragon lock, didn't you?
I did, yes, and it has me thinking, does that require attunement?
I think so.
Does it?
He would have attuned to it over the night, since he held it.
Oh, yeah.
This is true.
All right. Okay, well, I don't have a name, but I can try, and if it just creates a recursive mirror looking at mirror image, then we have our answer, don't we? And if I can do that and show it to you, and Locke points at Oak, then you can use magic, theoretically, to communicate with the dragon, can't you? You have sending? Would that work, or is that blocked by planar barriers?
Generally, sending is blocked by planar barriers.
Well, worth a shot, at least.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if I can do this. And Locke will pop open the mirror and focus on the dragon that he saw in the dreamscape.
Okay, so this is a cool thing. I love that you came up with this. This is recursive and cool.
Not prepared for it.
No. But I can be. It's not hard to prepare for. Here's the thing. The mirror is essentially fully awakened, or at least to the highest point that I had it theoretically that you guys could get it to. It is fully awakened, meaning that the person who makes use of it has a 50% chance to be able to talk to a completely unknown dragon. It's just, you hold the mirror and I want a dragon that I haven't met yet and know nothing about. 50-50 shot, you're going to actually pick up on some dragon somewhere. Or you're going to get zapped.
But Locke has at least laid eyes upon this dragon and
correct.
Knows about it.
If you can describe the dragon, or you have a description of the dragon, or you have seen it, then that percentage chance bumps to 80. And then it's 100% if you've actually met and like conversed with the dragon, and you're not going to get zapped. Therefore, Skunk is capable of scrying on any dragon he's met in a bond at this point without any problems at all.
And Locke has an 80% chance of successfully scrying on the white dragon.
Yes. However, because it's using the dragon's mirror's magic to find the dragon that's in it, I'm going to split that chance in half and put it at 40.
Hey. Alright, so how high do I need to roll on this D20?
It's not going to be a D20. It's going to be a D percentile. And as long as you are 40 or below in the percentile, you got it.
Alright, here we go. 49.
Nope. So, is Locke doing this in the middle of the library or the tavern?
I imagine like we probably did this in the library, and if Locke was gonna do this, probably
like up in the loft.
Wait, hold on. There's always a chance it might blow you up. Like, do we have like a barrier or an insulated room or something?
Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah. So you're going to get zapped for 6 lightning damage, Locke.
Ow.
So like you like go up into the loft and there's like this moment of like, it's granted this building doesn't have electricity because medieval times, but it's almost like the lighting just goes.
It's like anyone outside looks up and they just see like a blue light shining through the windows and like going, oh fuck.
Yep, pretty much. Yep.
Like, oh, he's practicing weird magic again. No biggie, and just move on.
Yeah. The tabaxi from before, he's just like, oh, he's doing that thing again. Yeah.
Okay, well, that didn't work.
Yep, you got zapped. Good job. I take it didn't go well, says Oak.
No, it didn't. I got zapped.
Yep.
Well, if nothing else, that does indicate to me that the target I was looking for exists.
This is true.
What I want to know is, if a cult was making this as a tool for spying on dragons, why the hell does it zap them at random? That seems like a very, very bad design piece. Is that just like a side effect of the dragon resisting the scrying spell?
Well, if it's specifically, I would imagine that perhaps the people who made use of the mirror at the time would have met or conversed with the dragons, and then therefore the chance of getting zapped was lower or something, and maybe the electricity was a fail-safe to protect it from getting into the wrong hands, or at least the hands that they didn't want it to be in.
That's actually a valid point. If it was like spies and espionage, then chances are they had agents all over the place.
Although,
they wouldn't worry about it.
There is one thing that strikes me as odd, and this is Alessandro speaking up. White dragons, from what I remember, and maybe confirmation from those who know dragons more, white dragons are often ice and frozen and cold, which kind of makes sense for Ebon, perhaps. But
I mean, yeah, they're cold and icy, but they're also like the most brutal and animalistic out of all of them.
Right. So the question that I then have is, if it is the soul of a white dragon inside of that mirror, why is it electricity that zaps you when it goes wrong?
I mean, that could just be the mirror itself. That might not have anything to do with the dragon, but...
True.
But actually, hold on. That might actually be a valid point. If this mirror is powered by a dragon's soul, then perhaps the blasts coming out of it whenever it fails aren't a result of the target of the spell resisting it, but the dragon housed within finding a weakness in the enchantment, a gap in the spell that lets it retaliate? Like it's taking revenge every time?
Maybe. Either way,
that's pretty elaborate, and that's a whole lot of speculation without basically any evidence to back it up.
I know, I'm just putting it out there as a thing to think about.
Point is, we need to, if we want to try to remove that dragon, we can either keep trying with like Anvinswin's stuff, or perhaps you can find a way to communicate with it. I can do a little bit of research on the creation of sentient items. See if that helps.
Maybe. Huh. possibly. And of course, there's also just a matter of what spell would even free a spirit from an item in the first place.
Well,
I don't know that one, and I don't think I'm capable of casting it, even if I did.
to be fair, if you...
Wait, to like free the dragon?
No, free its soul so that it can just move on. Like, that's the whole point here,
I
right?
think of is de-enchanting the item.
Or... Wait a minute, and this is Oak. Wait a second. Back
Because
when
you remember we disenchanted the item that kept the two dragons together, and then all of a sudden they split apart?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's
I forgot
what I'm
about
thinking.
that part. Okay.
I mean, I don't know if that'll work for dragon souls, but I mean,
Was that thing keeping those two dragons fused, powered by a soul?
it had two active living dragons merged together, and it.
Yeah, but that was the effect, not the power source, is what I'm getting at.
I don't know.
Neither do I. Regrettably, my understanding of magic is largely instinctual. I'm working on that, but I'm still no wizard.
So if we're going off the thing of like basically, if the soul is causing the electrocution, that leaves two different types of dragons. You got your blue dragon, and then you got your bronze dragon.
So, still in the middle of the library, going through all this dragon stuff that Cad does not understand much of at all, or knows very little about at the very least. Cad, roll me a charisma save.
Fuck.
No.
I'm within range of a silver person, right?
You are, yes.
Yes, you'll have a
Charisma
+5.
save.
What is
Straight.
happening?
It is advantage, actually.
It's his tendencies.
I thought we were done with that.
Nope, we brought him back to Locke. Apparently, Locke, you're the catalyst. You cause it.
Fuck.
So, that is not writing in your +5 that you would have had from silver, so you got over a 20. So, Cad, in betwixt all of this discussion about the dragon stuff, and...
Cad starts to kind of nod off in character. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, he does, yeah. It's been a while, and you're in and amongst books. You're nice and comfortable. Everything's safe and happy here, and you've been through a lot. It gives you a chance to sort of nod off and get you another nap in. Maybe the beds in Yuki Egi's inns isn't big enough for a Loxodon, and you didn't sleep very well the previous night. So you just sort of nod off a little bit, and then you, your eyes bolt awake, and everybody in the room realizes that something is up, because for the briefest of moments, Cad has his specters, and then they're gone. And they were...
What? You okay, buddy?
Cad?
Mm-hmm. Cad, you're still there. You're good.
Cad.
And Cad, you would have heard a voice in that dreamscape there for a second, saying a word that you cannot understand. There was a something that was perhaps in a language that you just don't know that was just said, and then you're back and you're here, and for the briefest of moment you realize you were raging for a second, and then it drops.
Yay, sleep raging.
Yeah, kinda.
No sleep raging.
And with that, before you guys would have necessarily anything to really do with it, and coming off the cup, so I don't want to necessarily go too far into this without getting a chance for David to see what Bjorn thinks of this whole dragon mirror shenanigery. Go ahead and stop it here. And then you have potential to pathways and different shenanigery going on.
Fuck, I'm connecting the dots in my head. Ah!
Uh-oh. What dots? What dots could you possibly be connecting?
We were in the Feywild the first time Cad had his first freak out on us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, Dahlia tried to usurp Locke away from Vindsevpt.
Yeah.
And now every time Gradiriel is losing his shit, it's while in Locke's presence.
Mm-hmm.
So, nothing's wrong with Cad. We never fully got Dahlia out of my head, is what I'm thinking. We figured leaving the Fey realm was enough. I'm starting to think it wasn't.
There's also another little nugget of information, though the character that would potentially have that is not here.
Goody. I am concerned now.
That is the fact that at one time, in particular with, although I don't think she had the axes at that time. I'm trying to remember the brief run-in forever ago where Riven had an encounter with a Loxodon that she fought by herself.
Right. The only Loxodon that I remember is her getting her shit kicked in by Cad's father. Quotation.
Uh-huh.
Has to do it to protect him. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. But that's a character that's not here, so that's fine. And you also have, as other brief bits of interest, though you didn't necessarily see any kind of iconography other than this, whenever certain characters had the Omnilit thing, way back when, it would push to showcase a holy symbol or something that was important to that individual. So for Silver, it would do Helm's symbol. For Oak, it would do the Oak Father symbol thing and that sort of stuff. But with Cad, since he held on to it for the longest because he was making use of it, it had a very unique symbol of what looked like a butterfly trapped in what at first glance looked like vines, but then the vines had itty-bitty little eyes. No one really looked at it for a very long time, but it was a symbol of a butterfly encapsulated by snakes.
Oh, goody.
And you weirdly have not seen any of that iconography anywhere else, really. Although that might have been by design on my part, but
Goody.
But yeah, I won't confirm nor deny your assumptions of Locke being some sort of catalyst for Cad.
The only common factor here.
Yeah, but anywho, it was great fun. Locke is back! Hooray! Cad is back!
Yay.
They're back together! Hooray!
Hey, the whole gang is back together.
I'm
now
awake.
I have both a warlock and a rogue that I'm controlling at the same time. I feel like I'm doing an okay job.
You are. It's a good thing that Cad didn't rage out in the middle of the house. Yet.
I mean, it wouldn't have lasted very long because look at how many people he is surrounded by who have the capacity to put him on the ground.
Oh yeah. I mean, Alessandra, if he went all destructive mode and was clearly targeting Locke, Alessandra would have just done intellect prison on his butt. Just stop! Crazy elephant. But anywho, I'm going to end it here. 'Twas great fun. And let's see.
It is nice to have Locke back.
Yeah. Him and his Ambin Twin BS. Hooray.
Yeah. That thing that I just started exploiting.
You did.
When I found out I could ask.
You did. Thankfully, this time, other than, names, I actually had details of stuff that you could go with that so that I wasn't just pulling it out of my butt. Other than the important factor of names. I never come up with names. Anyway, yes. We can do This Has Been Shadows from Cad, and then join us next time from... I'm going to say it this way because I said Cad earlier. Join us next time can be Locke.
Okay.
This has been Shadows of Gradiriel.
Join us next time as I'm pretty sure we start our final arc and start peeling back the layers on the shit that's haunted us for a very, very long time.
Indeed.
It'll be an interesting experience. Of that, I am certain.